Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Ricky with Technical Solutions. Hope that you guys are all having an amazing Sunday. How funny was that joke? We're doing a countdown right now. So we go live every Sunday for our Sunday Stock Talk. And we always, try to hype people up and stuff like that. So we had about 400 people waiting, and it had like 18 likes. And I was just like, all right, let's count down to 10 and let's get 100 likes, right? We were like 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 1, 1.8, 0.9. And yeah, we're just cracking people up. What the heck? That's a different language. I don't know what that is. But what's going on, guys? So how many of you guys, I want to see, so I know that there's a good amount of people that are tuning in, that have tuned in before. I want to see, so let's stop the messages right now, and I want to see the number of people that are tuning in for the first time. How many of you, if this is the first time that you've ever tuned in, I want you to comment on the live chat right here. So if you're tuning in live, that's the only way that you can do it. Be sure to message right here, and all you have to say is, this is my first time. Lawless, donating $2. You don't have to donate. Just want to make sure that you guys all know that. First time. I have a hard time believing that because I recognize a couple of these names. Don Fran is saying, Don, this is not your first time. Oh, that is hilarious. So what's going on, guys? Hope that you guys are all having an amazing Sunday. My name is Ricky. We run one of the fastest growing private trading communities out there called Technical Solutions. We have a little bit over 125,000 members. If you've ever wanted to surround yourself with like-minded individuals, then be sure to click that third link down below. It's a free networking group. You can join our free group chat, and then we do daily uploads and stuff like that all the time. So I don't want to take too much of your guys' Sunday. This is going to take about 30 to 45 minutes. We do this every single Sunday. We come together as a group, and we simply, the market's always changing, right? And we can have like a top stock for the month. But due to volatility and due to news, right, and different catalysts, especially during earnings season, just like we saw with Facebook. Facebook was at a 52-week high, and then all of a sudden it pulls back almost to a 52-week low. It pulled back to, I think, like 167, 169 or something like that. And for those that were able to watch me trade, within one day, I made a little bit over $1,100. I think almost $1,200. And we absolutely killed it last week. I want you guys to know, I mean, I had a day where it was, when I was trading Facebook, so after market hours, I closed a little bit over $2,800. And then the day before that, 648. And then the day before that, it was like 107. And then the day after that, that's when I came down with my fever. So I'm still actually recovering at a fever of 103.7 if I'm not mistaken. But absolutely one of my best weeks last week. And a lot of people that are part of Learn Plan Profit or that are part of Technical Solution really realized that, right? And I think the day after, the day after my huge day was when I logged in the profits on Facebook, and then I showed my total profits on Facebook. I partially covered some of my profits. I think it was about 600 the day of, and then the following day I covered like about 500, a little bit over 500 and stuff like that. So it was an amazing week, and I want you guys to know that my weeks are not always like that, and I think that you guys can easily tell. I've been really struggling the past 3 weeks, except for last week, but the 3 weeks before that, I was really struggling in staying consistently green. The week before this huge week was one of my worst weeks ever. And it was because I was forcing a lot of my trades. I wasn't locking in profits quick enough, and a lot of over trading. That's the easiest way to do it, right? I'm not under the PDT rule. So what that means is I'm a little bit over $25,000. And that's something that I know a lot of people can't do. What's going on, Billy the Kid? But I just wanted to share that with you guys. I know some of you sometimes are really having really good weeks, and then you hear other people having really bad weeks. My goal last week, as I was having one of my best weeks, for this entire month, almost for this entire year, I was working very hard in working with our people that were not doing so well, because I think that's the most uplifting kind of area of opportunity for newer traders. So one area of encouragement that I would have, we're a community, right? We're a team within Technical Solutions and within Learn Plan Profit. Whenever you see that someone is really struggling and that you're doing well this week, you have all this excitement, all this hype build up into you, right? Let's make sure that we use that excitement and we direct it into being able to uplift people and to tell them what it is that we did this week that guided you in the right direction. If you got lucky, then feel free to share it, right? Feel free to share that, hey, I got lucky in the stock and this is what happened. But a lot of the stocks that we were trading last week, we did not get lucky. I mean, they played out according to plan, and that's a form of luck, but we prepared and planned for this, right? CRX, one of the stocks that we were waiting so long for, ended up performing just exactly like we expected, hitting $19 and then getting rejected. A lot of the stocks that we were expecting to do well did exceptionally well, and a lot of us were doing so, had an amazing week. But then there was also very few people that did not have the best week, and that's what I want to make sure is every time that we do good, I want to make sure that we have someone that we can assist for that week to bring them up. Because just imagine this, anytime that you're having a bad week and someone that's doing good is there to share their best practice and to guide you in the right direction. What's going on, Michael? Man, you guys are just giving me money to be able to buy some more canes, huh? You guys want me to get another fever? That's what the doctor kept saying. I need to watch my what I eat. I was like, doctor, I don't need to watch what I eat. I'm very slim, right? I'm very skinny. She's like, huh, that's funny. It's gonna catch up to you. So she's a complete sweetheart. I have a joke for you guys. What's going on, Synox? I have a really funny joke for you guys. So we're in the ER, what's it called, in that clinic, and Justin was with me, and I was super sick, right? I had a fever, 103.7, something like that, right? I was sitting down, and I was cracking jokes at the doctor, right? I was cracking jokes left and right. This is before she told me how much the ER visit was going to be. What's going on, Joshua Burr? I just want to remind you guys that you guys 100% do not have to donate. I'll say you guys' name after this, but I was there, I was sitting down, I was cracking jokes, and I was like, hey, what's going on? I've been trying to work out, blah, blah, blah. She was ignoring me and stuff like that. And then she takes my temperature and she sees what it is. She's like, wow, you're really hot. We really need to do something about that. I was like, doctor, not in front of my business partner. And she didn't laugh. But yeah, just wanted to, that was a really dumb joke. But yeah, just wanted to share that with you guys. And I saw that a lot of people in my last video were absolutely just bashing me because of how many uhs I said, right? So I'm sorry about that. It must be the fever. Will this stream be up on your channel later? Of course, Katie. Thank you again for asking. So let's go ahead and just get right into it. So pretty much what we do during our Sunday stock talks is we come together as a group. The group shares a number of stocks that they see value in. I simply break them down. We have 3 rules within our group, and I want to make sure that we explain this in every single video, and I hope that they could really resonate very well with you. The first one is you should never invest based on other people's opinion. Write that on your wall. Write that next to your keyboard or wherever it is that you trade, so you always make sure that you have that understanding. There's a website. I don't want to subjugate any groups, and nothing like that. But there are certain groups, there are certain communities, and there's certain platforms that are built around building hype. One of them that's very infamous for this is called StockTwits. I think it's an amazing platform for networking potential, but if so many people are calling out a certain stock that it's a good buy, you have to understand, if so many people know about it, then it's probably not the best deal. And again, number one rule, never invest based on other people's opinions. Something that you are going to most likely experience firsthand by investing based on someone else's opinion, making a mistake, and then end up... You see him? He's like, shut up and take my money. He's hilarious. But yeah, that's the first rule. The second rule is you should only invest in what you understand. And what does that mean? That means that you should always have a form of risk. And that goes into the last rule. Always make sure that you have a plan. Entry point, sell point, and stop loss. One of my biggest losses this year, or the number of bigger losses that I've had, is not staying according to my plan, not cutting losses where there's either a breakup pattern or really just that, because I focus more on breakup patterns and not at a max dollar loss. I was doing a lot more short-term swing trading, and that's something that I was sharing a lot with the Learn Plan Profit group, is let my mistake, let my dollar loss, let my monetary loss be something that you don't have to experience. So let's say this, you start paper trading today. There's a bunch of free content out there on YouTube, right? I want you guys all to know that I'm not the only YouTube channel that you can learn from. There's amazing people out there. Just be sure that you ask the right questions. Just be sure that they're not telling you what to do, right? And I think personally, the best way on how to get started is to get started with, to start paper trading. So only investing with fake money when you're first getting started, because you're going to make a number of mistakes. And then as you're doing that, and as you're refining yourself as a trader, then you'll really be able to build that judgment and that eye for value. And then once you've proven to yourself that you can properly grow that account, then you can properly make that transition from fake money to real money. Tell me a joke, please. This guy's just throwing money at me. I feel like I should start taking my clothes off. But yeah, that's really just it. So we have those 3 rules. I really hope that they can guide you guys in the right direction. I really hope that you guys enjoy the next 20 to 30 minutes that you spend with us in the group. And if you guys do, hopefully we earn your thumbs up and the subscription. We upload daily videos. I upload daily recaps on both my profits and my losses. And then a series of like fun videos. Like I uploaded one earlier today of my visit in LA, me visiting, it was Graham, he's another YouTuber, and Nick, he's an influencer on Instagram. He has like 680,000 followers. He's like a gym guy. He's a model for guests. And then he also has a YouTube channel as well for fitness. And then we did one with Jaden. He's also an influencer on Instagram. He has like 67,000 followers. And then I did one with, what's his name? Azariah. That he's the guy that I was part with the Jubilee video. I actually filmed a video with him that I'm going to upload later on. So a pretty fun video, nothing crazy. For those that want to kill 7 minutes, then feel free to check that out. Let's have a great week. Here is for good luck. Dylan, man, I think officially now enough money to be able to buy myself a Caniac combo with all the money that was donated today. That Ricky's going to eat good today. So yeah, let's go ahead and get right to it. So I'm going to start sharing my TD Ameritrade Think or Swim platform for those that love asking what platform I'm using. That's going to be it. Where is the joke? Knock, knock. Who's there? I don't know. I don't know a lot of jokes, but 100%. I really do, Synox, I really do appreciate you donating 100%. Yeah, if you're going to donate for jokes, I'm not going to be your best. The best person to ask or request jokes from. All right, let's go ahead and get right to it. So something that I've been doing a little bit better that a lot of people have been looking forward to is I really like what's it called? Ricky has now evolved and is no longer shoots for threes. Now he goes for 4 points. Hey, what's going on, Christian? Hey, mom, I'm on the live stream. What's going on, DBL? But you cracked me up, man. Thank you. Here's a joke. HMNY. Oh my God. You guys cracked me up. So one thing that the team has really liked me to start doing is that on Monday, which is when the market opens, I go through a series of stocks that I actually see value in, and not just on Sunday, because it's very hard for me to decide like where the stock market is going without me really seeing like how it opens on Monday. So something that I like to do is I like to wait till market open on Monday, wait for it to close, and then do a recap video, and then I prepare my top 2 to 3 stocks that I'm looking forward to watching for the entire week. Again, none of the stocks that we're talking about are stock suggestions. Let's just use this for exposure and then focus on my thought process on how I break things down. So hey, don't be selling my jokes. All right, real quick, just so we can get a little bit more involvement. If you're part of TechBud Solutions or Learn Plan Profit, I want you guys to comment where you're from. If you're part of TechBud Solutions or TechBuds, just comment TechBuds. If you're part of Learn Plan Profit, comment LPP. If you're part of both, comment both. Let's go ahead and see it. TB, I subscribed. What's going on, Kevin Gardner? There we go. And this is what we call the TechBuds and LPP matrix. Here we go. There we go. What's going on, guys? Oh man, you guys kill me. That's crazy, huh? Do you see it?
No.
All the messages coming in. There we go.
Oh, yeah.
Arkansas LPP, I like it. Technology buddies. All right. But yeah, now if you guys have your number 1 stock pick for this week and you want to share it with me so I can break it down, I just ask you for it to be in the stock call out format. That means that it has to be just like this. So it has to share the ticker symbol, the support and resistance, entry point, sell point, why it has potential, just so I know that you did your own due diligence. That's something that we really like to ask for within our community, is we don't like anyone telling anyone what to do. We want to make sure that you do your own due diligence first, and then we can give you our own 2 cents after you've done your own due diligence, right? So let's go ahead and I think I make sure that you copy and paste it, okay? just because I'm not going to be able to go through all of them at the very same time. And then please be sure to pay attention as we go along, because you'll probably see yours being called out, and then you don't have to share it anymore. So let's go ahead and do this. So right here we got RTRX. All right, RTRX, showing signs of, let's look at the 1-year analysis. Okay, so we've talked about RTRX multiple times. It's showing signs of an ascending uptrend pattern. I just want to check the 1-year chart. On this 180-day chart, do you guys see this upward staircase pattern? That's something that I personally find very attractive. If you were to put an arrow at the end of the SMA, what direction would it be pointing? It'd still be pointing up, right? So if you want your account to grow, then it makes sense on why to invest in companies that are pointing up, right? That are moving up. We have a very funny joke, and we mean this with, very kind humor. Is HMNY, right? HMNY is one that we've thought from the very beginning was a huge pump and dump. It went from whatever this price was. It's done so many reverse stock splits to all the way down here, right? $1.86 from $3,917. I don't think it was actually ever valued at that price point. I think it highs of like $36 if I'm not mistaken. But it's gone through so many reverse stock splits, which if you don't know what that is, feel free to YouTube it or Google it. That it's really taken a toll. Pretty much lost its entire worth, right? So going back to RTRX, it definitely makes a lot of sense on why we would find this to be attractive, right? Investing in something that is showing signs of an uptrend, especially as it approaches this SMA line, right? I would still say that, now I like the direction of the SMA. That's the long-term pattern, right? That's the long-term direction. The EMA, which is the exponential moving average, is something that's a little bit more relevant, right, to its current direction. And if you see the last time that it was like selling off and then pushing up, selling off and pushing up, when it sells off, the EMA line takes a while, right, for this thing to catch up and then really start showing signs of an uptrend. Usually what I like to wait for, and this is my preference, it's not something that you have to do. Nothing that I do is something that you have to do, right? But something that I like to wait for is, I like this ascending uptrend pattern. There is no question that I find this to be attractive, right? I'm going to extend that support and I'm going to extend this resistance. I'm just going to right click on the lines, right? Now, I see that it's approaching this good deal area, right? Because it's near support, but it hasn't validated that it's going to bounce here yet, right? It's not above the EMA line. It's still below, right? This EMA line is still trending down. It's still below it. So with that understanding, I mean, the MACD indicator bars are still actively trending down. Like, yes, it might start to reverse, but everything that we're saying is it might. Why are you donating money? I'm sorry about that. Feel free to direct message me within TechBlitz and we can talk. But as you can see, I mean, there would be two things that I would ask myself, or three things, right? The three things that I like to ask myself before I take a position. All right, I'm going to have to close this out real quick because it's kind of distracting for me. I really do appreciate everything that you guys are saying. Just very quickly, I'm just going to have to do this breakdown and get through it. You guys are cracking me up too much. So this EMA line is still pointing down. That's something that I like to ask myself. Is the 180-day 4-hour EMA pointing up or down? I mean, it's still pointing down. So with that understanding, there is no proper reversal just yet. Just like it did last time. It sold off, it consolidated. So 3 stages in a reversal. Sell off, consolidation, and then it pushes up, right? Sell off, consolidation, and then it pushes up. Sell off, consolidation, and then it pushes up. So it sells off, it stops making lower lows, it kind of just flatlines, and then it breaks and makes new highs, and then continues to push up. And it's above the EMA when it does this. It's above the SMA and the EMA. So this is all something that we can wait for. But why isn't that not everyone does that? Because we're impatient, and I've been there multiple times. I don't always wait for the confirmation, and a huge risk that you take on for that is getting in before the confirmation, and then it continues to sell off. And then you end up having to cut losses because you hit your max loss or there's a break of pattern and you should have never gotten in that position in the first place, right? So I would wait for a proper indication of a reversal. Right now we're approaching that good deal territory. It's just not reversing just yet. So that's it. That's essentially what I would look out for. So what I would do here is have a series of different watch lists. I would put this under my pending reversal watch list. For those that are part of Learn, Plan, Profit, you guys must know and that have completed the entire course. You guys know what it is that I'm talking about. I have usually a 3 series of watch lists that I like to, what's it called? That I like to have One's my general watch list, one's my pending reversal, and then the other one is my active watch list, the ones that are actively trending up. So yeah, does that make sense? Are we good? Don't you think RTRX has low volume? Yep, it definitely has lower volume. So that's something that I would take into consideration when it comes down to the dollar value that I would invest. So that's definitely something that I would take into consideration. And make sure that you guys look at the different time frames to see if there's any proper series of like indications. So we could see out the 20-day 1 hour mark. It's reacting very true to this EMA indicator. So the EMA indicator is acting as a very strong resistance. So I set my alert here. So yeah. All right. Does anyone know the LPP support email? I mean, we have one email. It's info@learnplanprofit.com. It's provided for you in the course. All right, let's do this one. Malcolm Fletcher. Thank you again for tuning in, Malcolm. JWN. And also great call it on RTRX. Oh. Okay. Okay, so this is Nordstrom's, right? For those that are very familiar with that, I bought a very expensive shirt that I only wore once for a family picture. It's on my Instagram if you guys want to go check it out. But yeah, well, that's what it is. It's an online retailer and also in-person retailer, right? Major department store. It does not look like it's a good deal for me. Right, it looks like it's been showing signs of an uptrend. I do understand that. I can see why it can bounce at like $52 and hit highs of 54, which is 54 is like the all-time high, really, where it's been peaking out at. So really asking myself, like, you know, I like to focus on good deals. I'm just being completely honest. I know this is like really focusing on getting a good deal, but like, let's check out Facebook. Just an opinion, right? This is the ascending uptrend pattern. There's a huge sell-off. And then it offers all this margin for potential profit, for recovery. This is Facebook, multi-billion-dollar company. I think Mark Zuckerberg, the 5th or 6th richest person in the world, right? When it comes down to the value of Facebook and, you know, its revenue, its debt of not having any, and everything that it has to offer, wouldn't I find this to be a much better deal or opportunity than I would Nordstrom? Right? So all I'm saying is I'm not saying that this is a good deal or a bad deal, right? My opinion should be irrelevant to you. I do like how you're focusing when the SMA is showing signs of an uptrend pattern. I find that to be very attractive. It, you know, had a recent sell-off, so that makes sense. You know, it might be in like the close to, you know, good deal territory within a short-term swing trade. That definitely makes sense as long as you understand that it's a short-term swing trade. So maybe for about 1 or 2 days. Something that I would really take into consideration is, first of all, right now it's still pointing down. There's no signs of, like, it's still making lower lows. So there's no signs of it trying to reverse up, right? It's making lower highs as well. So that's something that you want to understand. I think a lot of new traders don't necessarily understand that. The MACD is still also selling off. That's why I like to put a huge emphasis on, like, is this the best deal that you can buy right now? I don't think so, right? But if you think that it is, just set up a plan. You've identified this pattern on why it is that you see value. What would need to happen for there to be a breakup pattern for you to cut losses? Make sure that you understand that before taking your position so you can at least manage your risk. And also have a realistic exit strategy for either this descending pattern or if it ends up, you know, being able to peak out at $54. So I hope that makes sense to you. But thank you again for the great call out, Malcolm. All right. Yeah, can you message right now in the thing? I'm going to add you as a mod. Okay. Message just test. Sure. All right, so just if there's like anything like inappropriate or anything like that, then you can remove that. But if it's not too much to ask, guys, let's just make sure that we're pretty organized with our callouts. Let's just try to keep it as organized as possible. All right. Eric, as of right now, this isn't going to be the best time to try to get my attention for the NDA. All right, let's go over this, Don. So GDS. Okay, so first of all, for all those that are tuning in right now, when it comes down to what is it that when you guys see GDS right now, what is it that you all see? So I see that based on this 180-day pattern, it tends to react pretty well to this SMA indicator, right? We could see that it normally holds above it, right? It sold off, it did break below it for a little bit, and then it reversed back up. That's pretty normal. Looking at the 1-year analysis, okay, pretty consistent and solid uptrend. Reached pretty much a pretty solid resistance at around $45. Can we agree on that? So I think it will bounce back. Okay, so and that's exactly just it. So what I see is this ascending uptrend pattern, but I also see this something that's a little bit more relevant to me is this horizontal support. So this is what would be most important to me. So we're approaching that SMA indicator. We're approaching that SMA indicator. It almost crossed below. We're approaching like a pretty low point where it shouldn't really drop anymore. I'm going to set my alert for the break above like around 38, around this area. So I'm going to set my alert around here. This is around 38.50. And the reason why is, JDS is definitely in the good deal territory. It's been showing a very consistent, it's offered a very consistent track record in showing signs of an uptrend. That's great. But will it continue to do this? This is something that we have to ask ourselves. Just because it's done it before doesn't mean that it has to do it again. And I want to set a series of alerts, right? Because not only do I want to get an alert if it breaks above this price point and then continues to fall off, but I want to get an alert if it breaks above that price point and then continues to uptrend. That's what's important to me, an ongoing uptrend. And the pattern that I see that's been very relevant, at least within the past 2 months, is the support, right, around this area. So we could even draw a support line right around $36 if you really want to draw it there, right? And then there's resistance. You could try to draw it to highs of like, 46 and stuff like that. I'm pretty conservative. I would probably lock in profits at 44, right? Just lock them in. And then we identify this, margin of potential profit from like around $38, right? To 44, which is about 15, a little bit over 15, almost 16% potential for profit. Resistance at 42, wouldn't you say? For this one, yeah, definitely there could be a present resistance based on previous patterns. It could definitely get rejected around this area. And again, all these support and resistance levels are just psychological price points. They mean nothing if they're not validated. Does that make sense? So that's why, like, sometimes when it comes down to setting up your plan, you guys might see me like plan out a swing trade of like, hey, I'm gonna sell at $60, but I might end up selling at like 57. And the reason why was because I was observing it that day, ended up getting rejected. I looked at previous patterns, there's a previous resistance, and I just said, for the heck of it, right? I'm gonna lock in profits, and I could always get back in. And that's always been, that's a motto that we've been trying to go for. No one goes broke by locking in profits. And that's, I think a pretty true statement. If you focus on locking in profits, even if they're not the biggest profits, on a consistent basis, you will provide more reassurance that you know how to invest. So I like the pattern. I like the ascending uptrend pattern. I like the horizontal pattern that it has to offer. Now it just needs to confirm it. That's the most important part. You've done a great job identifying the stock. You've done a great job doing your breakdown and identifying the value. We've done a good job for myself of breaking down the stock and identifying the margin of profit that it has to offer, why I find it attractive and stuff like that. And now all we have to do is for it to reverse. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this under my pending reversal. So this could be either an amazing investment opportunity or absolutely nothing. And what I mean by that is, if it does not confirm this reversal, then what is this stock worth to me? What is this investment worth to me? Nothing, because it never validated what it was supposed to. Because I see value in this horizontal pattern, and if it doesn't validate that pattern, then I no longer see value in it. It's as relevant to me as HMNY. Does that make sense? So, and although, I'm trying to make it like very aggressive, and I know like that's not always how it is that I trade, but I think that's a great way to focus when it comes down to planning out your trades. So you've identified this pattern, you see that it's an ascending uptrend pattern. I find that to be very attractive and offers a more relevant horizontal pattern. Great, we set our series of alerts, we added it to our pending reversal watch list. Now all we have to do is follow up with it and make sure that we stay up to date with our alerts. Does that sound good? Right? Does that make sense? Yeah. Okay, my throat is really hurting. My goodness. Huh?
Lemon and salt.
Lemon and salt? It's because we're Mexican, bro. If you're reading this, smash the like button. Oh, where do I do it? Where do I do it? What's going on? All right, here we go. Thank you again, James, for tuning in. NTLA. And I really hope you guys know that I really do appreciate all of you guys tuning in for the live show. It really does mean a lot. It's crazy to know that thousands of you are actually behind your phones or your computers tuning in. It means the world to me. Okay, I definitely, first of all, I'm not a huge fan of therapeutic companies. I'm not a huge fan of pharmaceutical companies. I just haven't had the best experience with them. I see that they could be easily influenced by like FDA approvals, and it's just a bunch of like news that can act as huge negative catalysts, also huge positive catalysts, but usually mainly negative. And it's not something that I've had the best experience with. So I'm just going to share that off right off the bat. And I do see this potential like ascending uptrend pattern. It did have a sell-off that's a little bit less attractive than I wish it would have. I wish it would have bounced around this area. So, you know, I kind of see this pattern to be, if it's going to continue to be around this area, right? And then the resistance to be around like this area, right? Does that make sense? Like with this ascending uptrend pattern and previous resistance to be right around 32. So I could see if it bounces, this EMA line would then curve, and then it offers this margin of profits. It's a little bit over 10%. I can 100% see why this could be attractive. Now let's just set our alerts and wait for the reversal. Is that a cool plan? So let's wait for the reversal. I'm not going to add this to my pending reversal watch list because I probably won't trade it. And it just has to do with I just don't understand these therapeutic and pharmaceutical companies enough. And that's just something that I had to admit to myself. So amazing call out. I wish you the best. Please follow up with me and let me know what you think. So Laura, you're always trying to get me to drink alcohol. You cracked me up. You told me last time that I should drink, what was it, like take a shot of whiskey with, first of all, I'm Mexican. If we drink anything, it's tequila. My boy Jose Cuervo. First of all, I'm 23 years old, just to let you guys know I'm not underage. What is your opinion on cannabis stocks? Are they worth buying into? First of all, thank you again. You don't have to donate to ask these questions. You can always just direct message me within Technical Solutions or Learn Plant Profit. But when it comes down to cannabis stocks, I'm not a huge researcher when it comes down to that. I could see that it's a very lucrative business. It's been booming within the past year. I could see how certain news can act as a positive catalyst or also a negative catalyst. There's been a lot of hype behind that. So I would really look into it, try to identify what catalysts are what drive the price up or down, who are the leading competitors, and then if there's anything that you can work around that, right? I think that would be my, you have to learn certain strategies and what causes the ups and the downs for certain catalysts for the catalyst sector or the cannabis sector. But yeah, I'm not going to be a huge, I don't trade them. So thank you. What's going on, Rocky? Oh, thank you again, Rocky, for tuning in. All right, let's go ahead and see this. Alcohol kills germs. That's all done. Totally kidding. Yeah, no, I know. Laura, I was just kidding. Let's go ahead and break this down. So Gerald is calling out ELY. Let's go ahead and break it down. Okay, is there anything that you see that I should break down or that? No? Okay, so ticker symbol ELY. This is Callaway Golf Co. We've already talked about this. I think we talked about this for those that are part of Learn Plant Profit. We saw this ascending uptrend pattern. We saw it reversing. Do you guys see this? Like it usually holds above this SMA indicator. So when it was selling off, again, 3 stages in a reversal sell off, we expected it to consolidate around this area because of this SMA indicator. It started stop making lower highs, right? Lower lows, and it started to consolidate. And then it broke above the EMA indicator. And then it started showing signs of an ongoing uptrend. So if this pattern continues, then we should see this thing start pushing up, right? So I would focus this to be more of a short-term like swing trade or even a day trade, right? As it pushes up, it has this like very unique margin of about 2 to 3% as it pushes up, and then as it sells off, like, do you see this? Like it pushes up, sells off, pushes up, sells off. So it's selling off right now. So if this thing opens on Monday or Tuesday and starts to show signs of an uptrend, then great, we can focus on ELY. If it starts trading in between, first of all, it needs to start pushing up, right? Showing signs of an uptrend. So that's why I set my alert there. And also if it starts to trade in between the middle and top view up, that's something that I find very attractive. Obviously middle view up tends to be a better deal. Top view up tends to be a better sell. So yeah, definitely something that we could follow up with. And I'll add this to my, I have it to my pending reversal watch list. So great call out. Ricky, are you Superman? Definitely not with the fever that I got. I felt like a super wimp with that fever. It was horrible. I haven't felt that sick in like the longest time. There's someone that keeps asking a specific question about, do you use Igimoku Cloud? No, I do not. Thank you for asking, but no. So it's just so I could cut off that question. I think he's Christian. You just love to roast me, and every time I go live. Actually, I want to do this one. Mitch, thank you again for that great call out. This is Twitter. So Twitter had a huge sell-off. A lot of people. We talked about Twitter. You guys can recap. I think this was during our Sunday stock talk. We said exactly this. It was showing signs of a descending pattern. Twitter, first of all, if you look at the 1-year analysis, you can see that this one hasn't had the most consistent track record, especially on the 3-year chart. Well, that definitely looks a lot more attractive. But I remember when Twitter hit a peak, and then it was going through so much bad news that it just continued to sell off, right? And then it started reversing back up, showing signs of an uptrend. And again, this huge sell-off happens. And look at this, very close to this SMA indicator. So is it a good deal? You have to ask yourself, first of all, it was not a good deal up here. And when we were breaking it down, that's something that we exactly told ourselves. It was showing signs of a downtrend, it was descending, and we said one of two things will happen. It will either break above its resistance, and then it will start to show signs of a continuous uptrend, so it will bounce around the SMA, or it will get fully rejected and then sell off. And guess what happened? Had its earnings, their guidance might have been a little bit off. I did not look into it. Had a huge sell-off. Very similar to Facebook. Facebook, I think, is much more relevant. It's a much bigger platform. And if you look at their debt, right, they have none. They're just a money printing machine. With the amount of money that it's ridiculous, right? I can reassure you that before this would only make sense to me if I was Mark Zuckerberg and I owned Facebook and we were going to announce that our revenue was going to start to slow down because we're going to invest in our future into privacy. We're investing in longevity in the company so we stay relevant and so we stay sustainable. This is not something that Twitter is having issues with. The issues that Twitter's having issues with, if I'm not mistaken, is revenue. At least that's what their previous issue was. And that was something that just I think is the distinct difference on how I see value between Twitter and Facebook. Do I still think Twitter can be a good buy? Of course, this huge sell-off, I think that there's a lot of emotional sellers, right, that didn't like the guidance for whatever reason, or when they start starting to sell off, obviously they're going to have to cut the losses. It makes sense. A bunch of panic sellers, right? And fortunately, because I was not invested in these series of companies, we can create a whole new watch list for this. We can add Twitter, we can add Facebook to our panic seller watch list, right? The watch list that everyone sold off and stuff like that. And we could set an alert for when it begins to reverse. And if it begins to reverse, then hey, we can reinvest in it. And then as it starts to go up, we can ride up and eat up that margin. Easiest way to put it, right? So I don't know if Twitter is going to stop selling off. I need to look a little bit more into this, as well as I need to look a little bit more into Facebook. I've never talked about my long-term investments in stocks because I usually don't have any. I have real estate, and those are my long-term investments that are with more capital. But after this huge Facebook sell-off, it's something that I've definitely been considering. I don't think it's something that I'm going to share too actively within YouTube because I don't want to influence anybody. First of all, it's Facebook, so it's not like I'm going to have an influence. But I just don't want to tell anyone where to invest for the future. That's not just something that I feel relevant, but it's definitely something that I've been considering because of the value and the opportunity that I think it's presenting itself, that it's never presented itself before, especially with such a major market such as Facebook. But yeah, I think Twitter can be a good investment if it starts to show signs of a reversal. As of now, we don't have that. There's no indication of that, so it's still selling off, and that's not something that we find very attractive. If you look at this, it's still sold off in between the middle and bottom VWAP, all on Friday. If you look at Facebook, although Facebook did sell off on Friday, you know, it really, if we look at the past 2 days, right, it really stayed within its margins. It stayed within its means of where it was trading. It's kind of just consolidating. If we go back to Twitter, I don't know how that one was reacting. No, this one had its earnings on Friday and then continued to sell off. So we'll have to see on how this reacts. But yeah, I think, yeah, so I hope that answers your question.
Someone donated and asked for a call out.
Let's do focused on.
That guy, that's one you missed.
GOL. Okay. Let me go ahead and do one more call out and then I'll go back to that one. Thank you. Ticker symbol S. Okay, let's go ahead and do this one. Okay, ticker symbol S. This is Sprint. It's been so Sprint. I think first of all, I think this is like the worst telecommunication provider, honestly, at least in my area and people. Do you have Sprint?
I used to.
Well, I think it sucks. First of all, I used to work for a telecommunication company. So for those that have always been asking, like, what is it that I did for telecommunication sales? It was actually me and my cousin, Michael, right? Yeah. That one of our first commission-based jobs, we're working, and we're pretty young. We're in our teens. And it was great, right? Offered great opportunities, great benefits, paid for college. And it also, with commission-based, like it helped me qualify for my first house. I think Sprint's the worst. They also pay the worst, too. But yeah, so Sprint as of right now is showing signs of a potential reversal, right? And no offense to those that work with Sprint, they still do very well. But as we can see, it's starting to try to show signs of an uptrend. Resistance at about 560. I just don't see this to be a good enough deal, especially with its earnings coming up. I would wait till its earnings. Based on previous patterns, when it has earnings, it doesn't do very well, especially now that we know that it's a little bit more on the overbought side than oversold side. I could see why it can sell off. So I would personally hold off on Sprint before investing because its earnings is too close. So hope that's okay. So I have Verizon. Sprint is a turd, stay away. Okay, I'm not saying that, I was just reading the comment. All right. So John Russell, if you're just going to put out your ticker like this, I'm going to have to remove you from the chat. Okay, let's do this. Christian Rios is calling out MTH. Okay, so I don't really like this pattern. I see this EMA line more pointing down. I see this more of a descending pattern. Yeah, approaching more of its support at around 40. I could see why this is more in the good deal territory. I can definitely see that. It's still trending below the EMA, so that would be a huge indication of, like, you know, this is still getting rejected. The MACD is starting to show signs of a potential reversal, but no full-on confirmation just yet, and it's been making higher lows. So I'd say a pretty conservative resistance would be around, like, you know, 45. Let's just aim for that. And, you know, the entry point is probably going to be around this area right here. So let's be a little bit more realistic around this to this. Is about 3.6%. And I just don't think that this is the best deal for 3.6% for something that's kind of descending. So I do understand why you're breaking this down and why you see value in it. I like how you're still focusing on the good deal and waiting for the reversal. I would just be a little bit more focused on making sure that my opportunity cost is worth it. So I wanted to offer like a 10% margin of profit and maybe like a 2 to 3% margin of loss. With this one, it's more like, you know, it offers a 2 to 3% margin of profit and then almost equivalent margin of loss, and I don't find that very attractive. So yeah, let's see. Of course, thank you again, Christian, for calling it out. Ooh. WTW by Trevor Dillon. Okay, so WTW, we've been talking about this one. It's been showing signs of consolidation right around the SMA indicator. This is very similar to kind of like Twitter, right? It's showing signs of a descending pattern, really just consolidating around this area. We talked about this one last week. One of two things. It's either going to bounce on the SMA and then start to show signs of an uptrend, either get rejected at 95 and then continue to trend down, or it's going to continue to uptrend, right? or it's going to break its support around $90 and then continue to sell off. Also, watch out for its earnings. Its earnings is on 8/6, 2018. That could be a huge negative catalyst on what can drive the price down, right? Look at previous earnings and see, the direction of most likely where it's heading. Is this something where you want to maybe close up your position? I personally don't like holding during earnings. I have a video on that on YouTube. If you're part of Learn Plan Profit, I expressed multiple times on why. But yeah, I understand the call out on why this isn't in a good deal range. Just it's too close to earnings and it's too close to the SMA for potential break. And it's just the risk is not worth it for me. So yeah. If Ricky's biceps were a vegetable fruit, would it be a vegetable or / fruit? Would it be a tomato or a potato?
They said that so many times.
Oh, really?
A lot of times.
That's funny.
Say potato though.
A potato? I just don't. So again, there's a bunch of indicators that I don't use. I think I'd be less focused on that, and I use the ones that are relevant to me. I was like, boy, your ass looks like a dehydrated giraffe. I hate you, Jay. Yeah, I do have Don. I do have someone else reading the comments. TNP. Let's do this. Legendary gap. TNP. Okay, kind of a horizontal pattern. I see, yeah, the support to be around 340. Is someone laughing, making fun of me?
No, what Don said, I don't have to roast just you. He's going to roast me now.
Huh?
He's like, I don't have to just roast you. So he's referring to roasting me now?
No. I could see that the SMA is still kind of acting as a resistance. Do you see this? It's tried to bounce here at the support, pushes up, gets rejected, pushes down, pushes up, gets rejected. We saw this a lot with ticker symbol CPG. So first let me break this down because I'll forget this ticker, but pretty much I would set my alert for the break around 360 and see if it continues to push up, because I find this to be where it's the most of value, right? It's consolidating a lot. That's great. It looks like it has pretty low volume probably. Yeah, I personally would not trade this just for your own 2 cents, but and then a resistance right around 380. So yeah, but CPG. So CPG does that a lot with like its SMA, and then when it breaks above it, it really gets going, sells off. We've traded CPG so many times. It's definitely in that good deal range again, but it's pointing down. So we need to wait for it to do its thing down here and then reverse back up, and that's why we have all these alerts up here. So ready for that. LOL, watching this at the gym, I look so awkward. B main, I want you to start doing curls and just say, tech, buds. I'm just kidding. Don't embarrass yourself. Do you trade small cap? Not really anymore. Yeah. So I'm actually using trading stocks to give me an opportunity and flexibility to try. Wow, I love that. Austin's actually someone that's part of both Tech Solutions and Learn Plan Profit, and we've been absolutely killing. So it's been a pleasure being able to work with you, Austin. Enjoy your app. Appreciate it. Of course. Thank you again. So where can you learn to read? So this is from Michael, is asking, where can I learn to read stock charts? So there's a bunch of amazing and free information on YouTube that you can learn from. You just have to know what you're looking for. For those that are always asking, yes, I do offer a course, which means that it's much more in a structured format. So it's just like brand new videos, structured format, the way that I wish I was taught. And if time is money to you and you want to work with me on a closer basis, I go live every single day with this private group. So they get to watch me trade live for about an hour to an hour and a half. And then you get 24-hour access, 7 days a week for a lifetime to this entire private group. So you get to, direct message me anytime that you want. You get to watch me trade live every single day, as long as I'm not running a fever, right? Actually, no, I still did it when I ran a fever. But yeah, I trade live, or trade every day. So I go live with this private group, and that's really just it. So, but I would encourage you to explore all your different options on YouTube. If you're finding it difficult to get to what it is that you're trying to find, then I would love the opportunity to also work with you. Also, for those that aren't too familiar with it, if you go to the announcement section and you go to pinned, there's this link, so you can just click there, and there's this website. All you guys have to do is if there's a specific video that you are looking for, I should probably post this in the Facebook book for Tech Buds, but it's like a search engine just for just for my videos. So let's say patterns. You search up patterns, and then it will simply just search up patterns of videos that I've uploaded. So you know, the top 4 patterns that you need to know before trading. So it's actually pretty cool. Okay. All right, here we go. J is NDLS. And I hope that for all those that are, oh, I actually really like this one. I hope for Noodles and Co. Wow, I like noodles. I hope for all those that are tuning in and that are asking a series of questions that I cannot get to, that you guys don't get offended by me not being able to break down your stock. I would encourage you, all you have to do is, if you're part of TechBud Solutions or Learn Plan Profit, you see how your stock is called out. This is because we're going to finish up in about two to three more call outs. So let's say I don't get to your stock call out. Even if I did, please go to either the Learn Plan Profit or TechBud Solutions chat, whichever one you're a part of. We have this watch list section, right? We have this watch list section under resources. It's called Group Alerts under Learn Plan Profit, and everyone posts this. Well, they're supposed to. So let's delete that. So you just post it here, post it, and then tag me. I go through this, you know, every single night, and if you tag me, then I can direct message you and give you my own 2 cents. If you're part of TechBud Solutions, then you just go to the watch list section, and again, same thing, post it, tag me, and then that's it. You don't have to explain yourself, just put it in the ticker call out format. If you could please keep it down to just 1 call out for this week, that would be amazing, as it is just me going through all my direct messages and tags. But yeah, I'll probably get back to you within like 24 hours. So just wanted to let you guys know that I do care, and I'm sorry that I can't get to everyone's message within this short period of time. So NDLS, for those that think that I speak a little bit too quick. Solid ascending uptrend pattern, had a recent huge increase in volume, right? Let's check out the 1-year chart. Okay, so I had a pretty consistent consolidation and started moving up. How's the volume? Volume is very low. I don't find that to be attractive. I was so pumped. Okay, then I probably can't trade it. Yeah, so, well, probably with a lower dollar value, right? But we can see it's an ascending uptrend pattern. It's approaching this SMA line, which has acted as a very common support. And now it's starting to consolidate. We can see that this green candle, it's starting to potentially show signs of a reversal. Understand that it's been rejected by this EMA line before right here. Do you see that it sold off and it pushed up? Oh, sorry about that. It's sold off and then it's bouncing here. So as it pushes up, just know that it might get rejected by the EMA line. So if you're trying to day trade it, just understand that that might be a resistance and it might get rejected. But if it continues to push up and then this EMA line, again, does this curve, right, and then starts to point up, then that's what I would find to be the most attractive. So I'm going to set an alert here, and I'm going to set an alert here. So great call out. Volume's too low for my preference. Doesn't mean that it has to be too low for you, but just wanted to share that with you guys. GOL, thank you again for that call out. Please follow up with me on that call out. Okay. This is different. That was quite a sell-off that it had. I was descending for 1, 2, almost 3 months, and then it started to show signs of a reversal. It has its earnings coming up. That's definitely something that I would take into consideration. It was showing signs of a very strong uptrend pattern. Do you see how it reacts very well? It pushes up, sells off, bounces on the EMA line, pushes up, sells off, holds above the EMA line, pushes up, sells off, holds above the EMA line. The EMA line is still pointing up. So again, what direction is it going? Up. That's the direction I want my account to, go as well. So it makes sense on why to invest in something like this. But what indicators can I look for that might act as a resistance? First of all, this isn't an indicator, but it's the earnings, right? It's on the second, something that I might want to wait out for. And also this SMA line, old support levels become new resistance levels. It makes sense, right? So I would wait for a potential break. This margin isn't necessarily worth it. It's about 3 to 4% that's left to cover, especially with its earnings right here. I personally think that I would wait for this thing to show more signs of a continuous uptrend and then wait till after earnings. Let's check out the volume. Too low volume for me. I really do appreciate the call out. I mean, I think it started showing signs of a really where I wish it would have been called out is around this area right here. Once it built this support around this area, and it started, really selling off, consolidating, and then it started making higher highs. That's where I find it to be the most attractive, and all this margin that it covered, that's huge. So check Ligma.
No,
Yeah,
no.
I've heard that one before. You can lig my profits. I don't even want to say it. But yeah, that's pretty much it. So let's do one more call out and then go from there. What do you look for when it comes down to volume? It's very easy. Like I don't really have to look at the actual volume itself. I mean, sometimes I do but with the volume bars itself and how it, what's it called? Just the appearance of it, you can easily tell if a stock has like low or high volume. So I always set my watch list from top to bottom, highest volume to lowest volume, because I find higher volume to be more attractive. But yeah. So I'd say, and again, ETFs, that's not something with volume, it's not something that I'm huge, like, it's not a huge influence. But when it comes down to stocks, it's definitely a much more important factor. I went riding my longboard and completely forgot about the stream. Christian, I'm so upset with you, man. Christian Wilson. So I'm going to have a talk with you, bud. But yeah, let's go ahead and finish it off with one more. So Tesla. Okay, so let's close this out real quick. All right, so Tesla has been showing signs of this descending pattern. Do we all see this? It's been consolidating, and it has its earnings report. Look at its past couple of earnings. I don't think Tesla has ever hit its earnings, but it hasn't been a huge factor. This is something that's very well known. It's kind of like expected, right? With Facebook, is very unexpected. But going back to like Tesla, I think this year is going to be a huge year for Tesla. It's going to be a make it or break it, if I'm not mistaken, based on articles that I've read. I could see that there's a lot of consolidation around this $300 price point. There is no, especially for Tesla being such a higher value stock, it needs to move quite a bit to make me some money, right? I'm not trading with $50,000. I'm not trading with $100,000. So it's not going to really be worth it for me if it moves like, 2 to 3 cents and I have to hold it for a week, at least not for how it is that I trade. It might be worth it for you, but the risk I think is a little bit too high, especially with the direction that it's moving right now. So because of that, I really want to ask myself, like, should I really be a little bit more patient and wait for the direction of this swing trade potential to change? Because right now, do you guys see this, how it continues to make like lower highs, lower highs, lower highs, lower highs, and it has built the support. So I think one of two things will happen. It'll break the support and continue to sell off and be a really good deal, and try to buy the dip there and then ride the hype up, kind of like it did last time, right? So do this. Or it's going to really start to change its direction and then maybe hold above the SMA and then continue to scalp up. But as of right now, I just wouldn't find it to be the best deal. I could see this 100% pushing right back up to potentially 310 and stuff like that, but the risk would be too high, because it could go up to 310, but it could also drop all the way down to 250, and that risk / reward is not worth it for me. And that's something that I really like to ask myself. So that's really just it, guys. So before you guys tune on out, I have a joke for you guys. So for all those that want to wait out for my joke, the time has come. Just kidding, I have no joke. Yeah, I just like joking around with you guys, but man, I got some big ears. I never knew that. Dang it, I need a haircut too. My goodness, gee willikers. But yeah, so that's pretty much it. I just wanted to thank you guys again for tuning in for this Sunday Stock Talk. Monkey ears, my goodness. Now I can't stop staring at them. I'm going to make the screen smaller, but you guys can see kind of how it is that we do things within our live streams. We really like to joke around, have a fun time. I can't say that all of our live streams are this exciting. I'm pretty pumped on this week, and I'm really excited for ending this month on a green note. It was a very slow month, struggled a lot, and I think because I struggled so much for the first like 2 to 3 weeks of this month, or at least the first 2 weeks, The third week was so rewarding because I did so well. And this is what I want. This is the message that I wanted to leave you guys with. So I'm not going to be answering any questions as of right now. So, but what I wanted to say is, like, when it comes down to actually investing, forget about just investing in the stock market. You guys know that, well, actually, I made a post on Instagram about this update or this news alert that I was going to give early morning today. So it's actually going to have to wait, I think, till tomorrow to the end of the day. But it has to do with one of my new purchases for a new house, right? You guys know that I've been investing in real estate for quite some time. This would be my 5th house that I would buy, and I'm 23 years old, right? I'm not the best real estate investor, but I understand what it is that I'm doing because of those that I surround myself with. And it's because of the knowledge that they've been able to share with me. And this is what I want to ask you. There's a bunch of amazing groups and communities out there, right? There's a bunch of people that you could surround yourself with. It's going to take a lot of time. It's going to take a lot of work. There's free options. There's paid options, right? And you have to explore all those options as a series of options that you can or maybe cannot take. And the biggest thing that I want to leave you guys with is we have so many people asking how, and not actually doing. There's this marketing team that came to visit me about 2 to 3 months ago, and one of their marketers was asking me hey Ricky, was one of the biggest pieces of advice that you would give me is I feel like so many people ask so many questions on how to do things and they don't spend enough time actually doing it. So I think knowledge is power, and I'm a huge believer in that, but I'm also a huge believer in taking action, and I don't think enough people are taking enough action and trying to prepare so much to have the perfect opportunity, and it never is going to present itself that way. You are going to make mistakes. It is going to take time, and then you are going to do so well and then potentially lose it all. But that is why we have these set precautions set up for you for learn first on YouTube for free. Start paper trading, test it out, make mistakes. No monetary risk. It's just your time that you are investing. And then when you prove it to yourself, make a fluid transition to real money, right? And if you want to work with a mentor or someone on a closer basis, then you have the opportunity to do that. But you've been able to work with them for about 1 to 2 months and you've seen value in them, then great. I want you to invest your time and whatever it is that you want to in those that you see value in. If it comes down to stocks, if it comes down to Forex, if it comes down to binary options, no, I don't trade binary options, Forex, or anything else other than stocks. So please don't ask that question. But whatever market, every market out there is profitable, even the infamous cryptocurrency. Every market out there, if there's exchanges being done, every market out there is profitable. There's just something that someone is doing to be able to capitalize on that market, and you just have to learn how to do it. So one of the first steps is I would learn how to get started by minimizing the least amount of risk as possible. With stocks, because we're in that topic, would be paper trading. And all I ask you to do is to make sure that you surround yourself with people that not only share great information, but that also uplift you. There's so many people out there that are so smart, that are so motivated, but because they are not in the right mindset, because they are not happy with themselves, they will try to bring you down or bring others down if they are not satisfied with what it is that they are. And that is something that I've never done. Regardless at my lowest point, regardless if I'm at my highest point, I've always tried to do my best to guide people in the right direction. And that's something that I stand behind in every single video that I've ever done. And I hope that that is something that some of you see value in, and that is why you join our free group, TechBot Solutions, and maybe why some of you want to work with me closer for those that are part of Learn, Plan, Profit. But most importantly, it really comes down to you taking action. You can truly learn how to invest in the stock market by not having to pay a penny in any courses. There's no question about that. I never paid for a course myself, but it took a much longer amount of time, and I experienced much more loss because I didn't have that structure, more mistakes, right? More time loss. So all I ask you to do is to identify what you're passionate about, what you see value in, and to ask yourself, do you think that this is something that you can invest time realistically to pursue? This isn't going to be a get-rich-quick scheme. This isn't going to be something that you are going to understand right away, but this is something that over time, it is going to make more sense to you, right? And as long as you're passionate, the passion is what's going to push you and drive you through, the hardships, the hard times where that monetary aspect is not there. And that's why I continue to always end my videos with let your passion be what drives your success, because that is honestly what has pushed me. When I was doing, Learn, Plan, Profit and Technical Solutions, or just Technical Solutions, and I was doing it for like over a year, and I was not making 1 penny off of Technical Solutions. I was doing it because I was extremely passionate about it. And I knew what I was doing was for the good because of the feedback that I would receive. And that's all I ask you to do. For whatever community, for whatever team, for whatever future you are trying to build, be passionate about it, be motivated, understand and be realistic for what it is that you are pursuing. Surround yourself with not only people that are intelligent, but that uplift you. And just have fun with what it is that you're doing every single day. It sucks sometimes because it could either get very repetitive or very boring. But as long as you continue to surround yourself with extremely motivated people, then I think that's what's most important. So yeah, I see a bunch of people asking how tall I am. How are you guys even like asking that question when I'm just dumping out my heart on the screen? So, but yeah, whatever. You guys are all dingleberries. Did I go to church today? Of course I went to church. I went to church for like 30 minutes. I was about 30 minutes late. So I have a fever. I have a fever. It's okay. But yeah, so really do appreciate you guys' time. If you guys want to check out my YouTube video, if you guys want to learn more about my story and stuff like that, feel free to browse around my YouTube channel. Yeah, I'm 6'4", 6'5" on a good day, if I'm wearing my good shoes. It depends who's asking. But yeah, that's really just it. So if you guys can give this video a thumbs up, I'd greatly appreciate it. And for all those that want to enroll in Learn, Plan, Profit, we were doing a sale yesterday that we were doing $30 off. If you want to sign up right now until the end of today, we already activated the coupon. It's promo code BOOM, B-O-O-M. It'll save you $40 off the Learn, Plan, Profit lesson library. If you have any questions about the course, feel free to direct message me. We do offer different discounts that are not just limited on time for those that have served in the military, first responders, and also those that are students or that have graduated. So feel recent graduates, like recent. So feel free to direct message me, not through Facebook, but please through Discord within Technical Solutions or Learn, Plan, Profit, or if you guys want those specific discounts. So again, if you want the $40 off, the coupon code is going to be promo code BOOM, B-O-O-M. So that's it. My name's Ricky. I day trade. That's my pickup line when I pick up girls, right? I'm just kidding. I don't pick up girls. But yeah, that's really just it. So hope you guys had an amazing time. Hopefully I didn't take too much of your guys' time. I'm going to go get some dinner and hopefully get some sleep and eat some Tylenol. So, or consume some Tylenol. But Austin Hunter saying that's a terrible pickup line. Yeah, Austin, obviously I don't have a girl. Yeah, I need bigger arms, 100%. Yeah. All right, guys. Hope you guys all have an amazing rest of your Sunday. Continue working hard. Continue following your dreams. Let your passion be what drives your success. And like always, let's make sure that we end the year on a green note. Take it easy, team. Thank you guys again for your time.